verse, John Lennon singing, "Happy Christmas, war is over." I wouldn't mind, but the words to that song are complete and utter rubbish. They just aren't true. You know the refrain, war is over if you want it. War is over now. Actually, I prefer to do my shopping online in the warmth of my own home. But this year, even that's got too much for me. Have you heard of Black Friday? It's the first Friday after Thanksgiving, when for one special day, all the stores have unbeatable bargains, knockdown prices. It wouldn't be so bad, but now this one day lasts a whole week. In fact, in some cases, it's 2 weeks. Black Friday starts this Monday, they say. And to make matters much worse, it's followed by Black Friday weekend. So you have Monday all the way through to Sunday, a whole week. And when that's over, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Wrong. It's now followed by Cyber Monday. The same, only online. And you're bombarded with offer after offer after offer. Now that doesn't make it any easier for me. There's too much choice. Am I the only one, or is it increasingly difficult to find suitable presents these days? Do you have that problem? I mean, we are so well blessed these days, aren't we? That there's very little that we don't have that we really need. And that's the problem, isn't it? What do you get for the wife who has everything? I've got to get my tiny brain into gear and think very hard in order to come up with something for Joan this Christmas. Of course, I could always say to her on Christmas Day, "By the way, I didn't buy you a present because you have everything you need." But since I'm neither brave nor stupid, I will take the cowardly but wise way out and find her a present. By the way, if you've got any suggestions, just write them on a slip of paper and let me have them any time before Christmas Eve, because that's my one shopping day for Christmas. You see, it squeezes all the pain into just one day. Oh, for that time in a land far, far away, and in a time long, long ago, where there was no Christmas. Well, that was when God created this world, and he created Adam and Eve, and he placed them in the Garden of Eden. There was no need for Christmas then, no need for buying Christmas presents. It was paradise. It was a place of perfection. They had everything that they could possibly need. And this is how the Bible describes it at the end of Genesis chapter 1, verse 31. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. God looked at everything he'd made, and his verdict was, "This is very good. This is exactly what I wanted. It suits me. It is perfect." Adam and Eve, the pinnacle of God's creation, lived in a perfect environment. They had everything they needed, and they had fellowship with God, the God who made them. So there was no need for Christmas. There was no need for presents. They had everything. They lived in a place without hate, in a place without suffering, a place without greed, murder, envy. It was perfect. But is that the way it is now? Do we live in a perfect world? No. We live in a world where there is evil and where there is suffering. So what went wrong? Well, when God created Adam and Eve, he created them to love him and have close fellowship with him. But love is something that you cannot force someone to do. You cannot make someone love you. You cannot force them. It has to be a free choice. And so God created Adam and Eve with free will. They had the free will to choose to love God or to love evil. To be obedient to God, who made them and provided for them and loved them, or to rebel against God, to do what God had forbidden them to do. Adam and Eve chose evil over God, and suffering was the result. And the overwhelming majority of the pain in this world is caused by our choices to kill, to slander, to be selfish, to stray sexually, to break our promises, to steal, to be reckless. So what went wrong? Well, first of all, the devil, or Satan, a fallen angel he rebelled against God, and God cast him out of his presence. And Satan, as God's enemy, was powerful, but he was not able to damage the almighty, the all-powerful God. How could Satan get his own back against God? How could Satan try to kill God or hurt God? Well, there was no way. Until, that is, God created mankind and placed him on earth. God loved mankind, the pinnacle of his creation, and Satan saw that he could get back at God by corrupting man, by making man turn away from God, by choosing evil instead of good. I'm sure that we're all familiar with the account. Well, there were false promises. You may remember that the devil approached Adam and Eve in the garden and had tempted them to rebel against God. And Satan was very clever in his attack, and he made them doubt God's goodness. He suggested that God was holding back something good from them by not allowing them to eat from the tree in the middle of the garden. And Satan also cast doubt on God's word by saying, "You will not surely die." But his pièce de résistance was that Satan promised them that they will be like God, knowing good and evil. Now, that didn't mean that they would know what was right and what was wrong. They already knew that. God had told them what was right and what was wrong. But the underlying thought was that they themselves would be able to determine what was right and what was wrong. Sadly, they believed Satan's false promises.